Hey everybody, and welcome back to another video. In today's video we got another cooking episode with you. Today we are working out of the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge book, and we are making the Endorian Tip-Yip. We also have our sponsor with us, our Pampered Chef consultant Sarah. If you would like to, go ahead and click in the description below Sarah's link directly to her storefront, and you can support the channel directly. You do not have to order, but if there's something you would like, feel free to go down there and check it out. We will have some products featured throughout the video as well, so check out those.
There's also a contact link. Once you click on that website, there's a contact me button, and so you can ask me any questions that you have about any of the products or any cooking tips, or if you need some recipes or anything like that. So definitely feel free to send me an email.
Sounds good. So without further ado, Endorian Tip-Yip. The book we're using is the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge cookbook. For those of you that don't know, Galaxy's Edge is the theme park at Disney World and Disneyland that is all Star Wars themed. And I actually looked today to double check. This is exactly something on their menu in the parks. So if you want to try something from the park, you can make it yourself.
Very cool.
So we have two things going on here. We have the first section here is how to make the main entree. And then there's a separate page that tells you how to make the gravy. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the ingredients for the main dish. So the main dish ingredients, you need 2 large boneless, skinless chicken breasts. You need oil for frying, such as vegetable oil. 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of black pepper, a pinch of cayenne pepper. Sometimes I call it Kanye pepper because I don't have to think as much when I say cayenne. So if I end up saying that in the video, I'm sorry. We need 1 egg, 2 tablespoons of buttermilk, 1 batch of mashed, they call it choke root, which is another recipe in the book, or you can use mashed potatoes. For the sake of this video, we are using mashed potatoes. 1 cup of cooked mixed vegetables, such as peas, carrots, and corn. And then the thing that's in the other part of the book, the 1 batch of Burek Gravy. Now, what is Burek Gravy? I guess we got a picture there real quick. So if you've been to the parks, you might have seen that before.
Sorry, I just wanted to show them so they knew kind of what it looks like when we're all done.
And
a little preview.
Just so you know, the gravy is actually incredibly easy to make. You just find the ingredients and throw them together. That's how crazy easy it is. The ingredients here is a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley leaves, 1 tablespoon of fresh green herbs, such as thyme, savory, and marjoram, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, a 1/2 cup of olive oil, and a 1/4 cup of chicken stock.
If you don't have those fresh herbs on hand, you can substitute for jarred herbs, but just be sure to half the amount. Jarred herbs are very concentrated compared to fresh herbs, so you don't need nearly as much. And that's what we'll be doing in the video too.
Yep, and we're going to try and make this as easy as possible for you to replicate at home. I can guarantee it's probably harder to find those fresh green herbs in the herb aisle than it is to make this. We couldn't find them individually. We had to get a mixture. Alright, so we're going to start with the main dish, and then we make the gravy at the end. One thing that it says for the gravy is that if you make it, you have to either use it really quick or you have to put it in the fridge really quick. So if you're going to make the gravy, save that to the very end. Again, I said it's super easy. You just throw it all together and mix it.
One of the main reasons for that too, just as a quick side note, is that it's kind of an oil-based gravy, and so if you let it sit for too long, it's going to separate and it won't turn out the way that you want it to.
Yeah, it's not going to go the way you think. Alright, so we need to get the mashed potatoes going quick and early on, that way it can cook while we do everything else. I've already pre-cut the potatoes for us, that way we can get going. So we're going to go ahead and put those in the pot here.
Just so you can kind of see about the rough size. How many potatoes did you do?
I did 3 potatoes. There was not a specific size of mashed potatoes, so just kind of, you know, best judgment. Looks like we got them all. Get some water here. Put that on the back burner while everything else cooks.
So he's getting it started on high heat just to get it boiling.
Yep. And then once it starts boiling, then we'll tune it down a little bit. Alexa, set a timer for 12 minutes. We're going to see where it's at in about 12 minutes. Alright. Next, we need to cut the chicken into small pieces and set aside. Based on the picture, they kind of look like...
giant chicken tenders.
Yeah, or giant chicken nuggets. So, make them the size you want. Only you know the size of the bite in your family. For those of you that don't know, that weird little thing we just did is from the Star Wars Holiday Special cooking show. Look it up. You probably enjoy it. We're not just being weird. So Sarah's going to cut up the chicken appropriately, and then I'm going to make the mixtures that we have to dip these chicken pieces into. Alright, so while Sarah's doing that, I will walk you through the mixtures. In one bowl, we need to whisk together the flour, salt, black pepper, and the cayenne pepper.
Which we're going to substitute and use paprika instead.
Yes, we are substituting the cayenne pepper with paprika. So let's see here, the flour, we needed 1.5 cups. We're going to have some more Star Wars fun here. BB-8 measuring cups. Check them out on Amazon. Sarah is using the cutting board from Pampered Chef. They are very, very neat. They do not slip on the counters if used
flexible
appropriately. Make sure to take off the plastic on the back when you get them. If you do not, they will not work properly.
I've seen it from a couple people now that the backing peels off in the dishwasher, which you're supposed to peel it off before you use it, so that's why it came off in the dishwasher. Oops! But the chicken's all cut up now. They're roughly the same size pieces. Some of them are a bit thicker than others, so we'll just have to watch when we're cooking them. These thinner pieces are going to cook a lot faster than the thicker pieces. So I'm going to wash my hands and clean off my knife. The coated utility knife was what I used. It's also the same knife you used on the potatoes, so kind of reusing the same prep pieces. Use the same cutting mat, use the same knife, save on dishes.
We got the flour in there, now we need the 1 teaspoon of salt. There we go. So we got the flour, we got the salt. We need black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. There we are. And the paprika. How much paprika did we need?
I think it said a pinch.
So we'll throw a pinch of that in there. And then, do you mind mixing that up while I get the rest of it?
Sure thing.
Alright, so she's going to mix up that mix, and then I'm going to prep the rest of it let's see, the second bowl, so it is a separate bowl, just so you know. We need to put in the egg and the buttermilk. So we need 1 egg.
It's all nice. Ooh, spilled a little bit. That's okay. Nice and mixed in there.
There's the egg. How much buttermilk?
2 tablespoons.
You want to go ahead and put that in there?
Alright, so this is just regular old buttermilk. Had a little bit of a hard time finding it at the supermarket. It's kind of near the dairy department, maybe closer to like where the half and half is, so it's not exactly by the sour cream and all that, but more by like the other creams, if you will, like the half and half and those types of creams. So there's 2 tablespoons. Right there.
I need to mix that together. Would you like to be mixing it? Alright, so now we're going to dip the chicken into the buttermilk mix and then dip it into the flour mix and set it aside. Do you have another plate?
Not yet. You're gonna have to grab one.
Make sure to coat them generously.
So there's kind of what that looks like.
That for the beans. And looks nice and mixed. So go ahead and dip a piece of chicken into there, coat it, and then coat it with the flour.
Are you wanting me to do it?
Yep.
So I'm just giving it a little turnover in here, making sure it's got it completely on there. Give it a little shake, get that excess off, and then we'll go ahead and put it in here.
Give it a good old generous coat.
So that looks about right.
There we go. As she's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and put oil in our pan over there. And you're going to need, it depends on the pan you're using, how much oil you're going to be using, but we're going to put about 2 inches worth of oil in the pan itself.
And it does say to use a stock or a saucepan.
Yep.
That way you're kind of limiting how much oil you're using for cooking this recipe.
I'm going to let y'all know right now, that little saucepan right there, that took the whole thing.
Not the whole bottle.
Yeah, it did. That's just over it. Like,
The bottle was brand new?
yeah. Well, it was about right here. So that's about the whole bottle when we started. That's a lot of oil.
Wow.
But it's okay. It's just like the restaurant.
It's deep fat frying is what it is, you know?
Just like we're working on Batu, which is the planet from Galaxy's Edge. Ooh. A little bit.
I'm gonna rinse my hands a little bit because the batter's kind of sticking to my hands.
But we're using some flour too.
What?
I said the book was eating some flour too.
Yeah, I'm kind of getting a little bit of flour everywhere. gonna try and use tongs this time and see if that works a little bit better, because this last one still is kind of missing some coating. So we'll see.
For those of you that aren't as familiar with Star Wars, the title here says fried Endorian Tip-Yip. Endorian means it's from Endor, which is where the Ewoks are. So if you at least know what the Ewoks are, it's from their planet.
Do you want to tell them where we saw Tip-Yip for the first time?
Oh, well, I mean, we saw it on the menu for Galaxy's Edge, but at the same time, for those of you that play the video game Sims 4, they just had an expansion for the game where you actually go to Batu, and they have this same meal in there as well. So this is the meal in the video game too.
The first place I saw it was in the Lego Holiday Special.
Oh yeah, that's what she was referring to. Oops, well, more information, more trivia. We highly recommend that. If you have Disney Plus, check it out. Lego Star Wars The Holiday Special.
Are you heating up our oil?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
heating up a little bit. I'm not blasting it, but...
It's important to get the oil hot before you put the chicken on there, because you don't want to bathe the chicken in the oil. You just want to cook it in the oil. So if you put the chicken in there right now, while it's not hot, your chicken's going to wind up soaking in a lot more of the oil than it should be.
From my experience cooking with oil, it gets messy, but we have a Pampered Chef product waiting for you that will make it less messy. For those of you that don't know, I have a thing called Hubby Certified Pampered Chef items. That is one on the list, and you will see that shortly.
Not everything makes a list. There's some things he doesn't like that...
Yeah.
We're not going to mention what they are unless you actually ask for it, but we'll leave those aside. But there are some products that he really likes, and so I'm glad that this is one of them that made the list.
Yeah, because I don't like getting burnt. I don't need to be Darth Vader.
We're on our last one here.
Last piece of chicken.
I will say it was a lot easier.
Alexa, stop.
It was a lot easier using the tongs. My tongs are still caked in the ingredients, but at least my fingers aren't anymore, so made it easier to pick up and move around. If you have these small chef's tongs or the large chef tongs, it's really nice that there's a little locking mechanism on the bottom, so I don't have to worry about them swinging open or anything like that. I can just kind of store them just like that. So I am going to rinse off the batter here, that way it's not as messy, and we'll be able to use it for putting the chicken in the oil and then taking the chicken out of the oil too. So
Yeah, potatoes are almost done. You just heard the timer go off, but they're very, very close.
you ready?
It's not boiling or anything.
Does it say like a certain temperature it needs to be or anything?
350. I don't think this thing can reach that. You think that's 350?
I'm not sure, to be honest. Just see where it's at though. Yeah, so we got to crank up the heat on the oil, get it a lot hotter. This just so it's a little bit more balanced where the pan is.
You can make your own mixture of vegetables. We're going to be popping ours in the microwave here in a second. We have a frozen type of mixed vegetables that we really, really like. I'll show you that in the meantime.
I like that it's a steam bag, so you don't have to worry about doing anything. You just throw it in the microwave and voila, it's done.
Easy peasy. It's a Meyer mixed vegetables there. You literally just throw the bag in there, heat it up for 6 or 7 minutes. Make sure this side is up. That's actually in the instructions. I'm not making that up. And turn on the microwave, 6 to 7 minutes. also, while the oil is heating up really quick, we're not going to leave you in suspense. I'll show you the thing I was telling you about. This is the hubby certified item I was just talking about. What's the official name?
This is the small boil over no more. Originally intended for, if you put the insert on this side, you'd put it on your pot of whatever's boiling, and these little flaps kind of act as a way to let out the steam and the bubbles and whatnot, so that it just kind of sits here and it can go back down into your pot, so it's not boiling over. That way you're not having a messy stove. But if you flip it over and put the insert on the other side, that's how he uses it for when you're cooking with oil.
We're getting there.
So it also works as a really good splatter guard.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Liz. I see it in the comments there. Slightly new to this live thing, so I had to look at the very small print.
Yeah, sometimes I'll keep my laptop pulled open, that way we can see them a little bit easier, but when you're mixing with batter and oil and everything else, I figured I'd put the laptop aside. How are we looking?
We're about almost to 300.
So yeah, when you're getting that oil ready, definitely make sure you crank the heat because you need it hot.
I don't think we need this anymore.
Nope. Or this one.
One last hubby certified item that is on the Pampered Chef list is the Hamburger Press. Is that what it's called?
Yep. The burger and slider press.
Yeah, so I always bought the pre-made burger things and paid extra for it. Well, now that I got this handy dandy tool, I can buy the cheaper version and make them myself.
Or if you're doing sliders.
Yeah, super easy to use. Even I can use it.
It's got a silicone bottom so you can push out the burgers from the top. That way they just plop right out. And one thing that is really important to the design of this that you wouldn't really think about is this little indentation piece right here. So it creates an indent in your patty. And the reason why that's important is it actually helps your, whenever you make hamburgers, if you find that they often kind of shrivel up and shrink and become really small and kind of thick burgers, this little dimple here will help them actually stay spread out to the size that you intend them to be. So you actually have them the same size as your hamburger bun, and they'll cook a lot more evenly too. So it's the burger and slider press.
I think we're good to go.
All right.
The show is back on the road, everybody. Alright, so we're going to put the chicken now in the heated oil, and after we put it in there, we're going to cover it with the guard here. That way we don't potentially get splashed with the oil.
Helps keep your stove clean too.
Yeah, that's a big one. Alright. Let's go ahead and dip those in there.
Yeah, I'm going to turn the heat way down.
Oh.
I'm going to take a second here to dump some of this oil. There's too much in here.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we're just, for now, we'll dump
Maybe
it.
we do 3 at a time. I'll be in there for a little bit.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay, I guess we're going to cook 3 at a time. So I'll turn the burner back on.
Put the cover back on.
Just be wary of...
Be wary of how much oil you put in there. Improvising.
Yeah. It says to fill it up with 2 inches, but if your pot's only this tall, you know, 2 inches, you're not going to have much room left for the actual food itself.
Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes.
6 minutes, starting now. While you wait for your timer, I can help you pass the time with a dose of inspiration.
Call back to the mixed vegetables. We're going to throw them in the microwave. This one takes about 6 or 7 minutes. And while all that fun stuff is happening, we're going to take care of the potatoes.
Turn the heat off there. So he's straining the water. We're going to use the mix and chop for actually mashing our potatoes once he brings that back over. So we'll go ahead and show that live and in action. Mix and chop is really versatile for a lot of different things. The main use for it is actually for chopping up ground up meat. But you can also use it for chopping stewed tomatoes, frozen drink concentrate, mashing potatoes, doing like a coarse berry puree. So if you want to keep your fruit not like smoothie style, but actually kind of thick for like a dessert topping, you could use it for that. There's a lot of different things you could use this for. Just kind of showing you.
Right. Alright, so you can do your mashed potatoes any way that you want to, whatever you like. What I do is I put about a tablespoon of butter in there, and then we put some minced garlic as well. And after you put those in there, we mash it up and mix it.
So I'm just covering the butter to kind of help it melt.
I like to guesstimate on the garlic. We do like garlic. We're big fans, so we put a little bit more. Again, whatever your type of mashed potatoes that you and your family like, go ahead and make them. There's no specifics on the type of mashed potato.
If I had to take a guess at how much that was, if you were trying to replicate, I'd say that was probably about a teaspoon, which is about 2 cloves of garlic.
Runaway potato. Potatoes are a little tough, so we'll add a little bit of the water back to it. I only do about a splash at a time because you can't take the water out of it after you've already drenched it. So keep that in mind. How are they looking?
This one's done.
They got another 2 minutes.
One of them was done.
Oh, nice.
This one's not quite.
Tad bit more water. Super close. Once the mixed vegetables are all done, you actually mix your mixed vegetables in with the potatoes. So after those go off in the microwave, we will be putting that in here. got that all good and mashed. Now we wait for the vegetables. Smell that garlic. It smells great. What are you guys having for dinner tonight? Are you having dinner and a Star Wars movie? Sounds like a great date night.
It does smell really good. So my cover is getting a little bit hot, so I'm going to use my mini oven mitts. I'm going to use my mini oven mitts to grip that, so that way I'm not having to worry about burning my hands.
That was the time of your chicken.
Huh?
That was the time of your chicken.
I know. I'm going to check it. So one of the pieces that was really thick is not quite done yet. What I'm checking for is an internal temperature of 165 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the food safe temperature for chicken or poultry. Poultry including turkey, right? So that way we know that the meat is safe to eat and that it's ready to go. So 2 of the pieces were good, 1 still needs a little bit of time. So I'm going to give it probably another minute or 2 and check it again and see how we're doing. When you're doing these steamed bags of mixed vegetables, you always got to be very careful of the steam. It is very, very hot. I know that might sound like it's like, duh, you should have known that, but it's surprising just how hot it is. So be careful you don't burn yourself. And it does say 1 cup of cooked mixed vegetables. Our bag was 12 ounces, so it's about 1.5 cups, but really it's just however many vegetables you want. So ours is just going to be a little bit heavy on the vegetables. Which I think we might have done a little bit of a larger size of potatoes too, so it should work out.
Gives it a nice colorful look to the presentation. So we got the mixed vegetables and potatoes mix. That's ready to go. We got the other half of our chicken to go ahead and put in there, and we will do that while we're making the gravy really quick.
Alrighty.
There's that.
Can you put it closer?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. There we go. Nice. Alright, be the last and final step, the gravy. Go ahead and put that over there. I will reiterate what the ingredients are for that. The 1/4 cup of fresh parsley leaves, which we had said before, we're going to half that because we already have the ground up version of that. 1 tablespoon of the green herbs. We got it already mixed in there. A pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, and or a 1/2 cup of olive oil, sorry, 1/4 cup of chicken stock.
If you're having a hard time finding those green herbs, the thyme, savory, and marjoram, thyme is usually pretty easy to find. It was pretty much sold out when we looked, but you can find a mix of those three. This one, it's called Herbs from Provence. Did you want to start a chicken timer?
Oh, Alexa, set a timer for 6 minutes.
Thank you.
6 minutes, starting now.
This one's Herbs from Provence, and if you look at the actual ingredients list, it says, if I can find it, a unique blend of herbs and spices, contains rosemary, garlic, lavender, thyme, parsley, tarragon, marjoram, basil, savory, sage, and chervil. So it's got all of those plus some extras, which is okay. You're looking to get a variety of different flavors in there.
Alright, so once again, we're just mixing these things all together. Let's see, we need half a cup of olive oil, a quarter cup of chicken stock.
You might want to do your parsley first since that's a dry ingredient. That way your measuring cup doesn't get all sticky.
Did you have BB-8's head? I don't know where that went, but that was a 2 tablespoons.
I already used it for the bottle.
Oh.
But here's 1 tablespoon.
Alright. We'll roll with it. 2 tablespoons of the parsley leaves.
You can take off the top if you want. This little pour tab is not working. There we go.
One. Two. Alright, we are good with that. 1 teaspoon, not teaspoon, of the herbs.
I want to talk a little louder. I gotta talk over the oil.
Alright, 1 tablespoon of the mixed herbs.
Oh, you gotta half that.
Alright, we're having it.
And the reason for having is because we have, it's not fresh ingredient, it's not a fresh spice, it's a pre-concentrated spice.
We almost had a happy little accident. Alright, a pinch of salt, so only a little bit. 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar. Okay, that's teaspoon, not tablespoon. I have a teaspoon already. Half a cup of the olive oil. Let's go ahead and do that one.
Half a cup?
Yeah. Half a cup of olive oil, quarter cup of chicken stock. Alright, so a quarter cup of that there.
I'm gonna need you to open it. Thank you.
Alright.
So we've got our small batter bowl here that we're going to be using to mix this all up, and I'm also going to use the stainless steel mini whipper to get that all mixed together. Is that it?
Yep.
Alright.
Getting a plate ready so that we can show them how to plate it. Mix it nice and good.
You can see that there.
A very green mixture. Alright, so how do we plate this? we're going to go ahead. You're going to take your mashed potatoes and vegetable mix. Make a nice platform there.
Yep, and this one. We're gonna check these last couple pieces of chicken here. Yeah, this one needs to go too. I need to plate that, huh? I think these might all be ready. I know, give me 2 seconds. Oh, of course, the last one's not quite ready.
Alright, so we got our nice little strip here. You're going to go ahead and take your chicken, place it right on top. Actually, that's a big piece. We'll put that center stage. Just like so.
Alexa, stop.
And then, where was your mixer?
I already put this in.
Okay.
You can just pour it. It's already mixed.
And then we're going to go around the outside of the potatoes with this. Go ahead and pour it. A little too much on that side. All on the outside. And there we have it. The Endorian Tip-Yip. That is from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
I feel like it looks just like the picture. I don't know about you.
Yeah, they have a smaller bowl, so that's why their sauce is a little more concentrated. We got a big plate. That's why it's a little more spread out. But it's okay. Alright everybody, that about wraps up for us today. We made the Endorian Tip-Yip for you today. It turned out really well. I think it's going to taste really good. Again, that is from the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Cookbook. You can purchase that on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Target, where have you. It's only one recipe out of there. There are tons of different recipes, so go ahead and check that out. Also, if you are interested in Pampered Chef stuff, we will have a link in the description below because we do have our sponsor, my wife, Sarah, here from Pampered Chef. If you want to support the channel directly and you're interested in anything Pampered Chef, go ahead and click the link and then just shop right through Sarah's storefront. It would help us a lot. And then, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, drop us a like if you like the video. Before I forget, turn on notifications if you like this video also, because we have more cooking videos coming out as well. And then, as always everybody, thank you for watching.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.